Hey, TSD, can you hear me?
Hey, Tom, you should be able to enable your mic and camera.
Well, we've got onto the computer for the room, but now it's wanting Microsoft Teams login information.
You should just be able to join as a guest. You can log in as yourself.
Let's see, we're at, it's, what did you click on to get there? How did you get here?
I just opened it.
Okay, can you get out of all this?
Because when you join, it should give you the option to either sign in or you can just join as like a regular attendee, and then I can promote.
Okay, so open up a web browser. Go to the county website. Close that, go to Chrome. Oh my God. Okay, scroll down. Just click anywhere on the calendar. Scroll down. Find the meeting. Bottom. Click that. Scroll down. Click the link to join. Open Teams. All right, there we go. All right. I think we got it. Thank you.
Yeah, not a problem.
Camera's been the same.
It looks like a picture of a bunch of rocks with grass on it. Click the view again and just go to. That's fine. Okay. We're good to go. I think so. Okay. We'll call to order this regular meeting of the Waste Reduction District of Monroe County Citizens Advisory Committee. The third Thursday of May the 16th, 2024 at 5:38. Technical difficulties, which is why we started a little bit Will the vice chair please call roll?
Yes, John Arnold, Matt Austin,
Present.
Bill Goins,
Present.
Brad Lucas,
Here.
Paul White,
Here.
Joseph Winia, I am here too. We do have a quorum.
Okay, today's agenda was distributed by email and Dropbox on Monday. Well, Dropbox on Monday, May 13th, and email Tuesday, May 14th. Are there any objections to adopting the agenda as distributed? Emails to you. Okay. Hearing none, the agenda is adopted. As for the approval of meeting minutes, we did not get the meeting minutes distributed from March, so we cannot do any corrections.
John was having trouble
Yeah.
accessing the recording, which shouldn't happen because it's supposed to be a publicly available recording, so we had, but I think Vin got him connected to it, but he just didn't have time to get it done.
So as a question of order, what do we do with that? Do we do that next meeting?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll just table it to the next meeting.
Okay, so that would go under then unfinished business.
I think you could put it under approval of meeting minutes and then just add both months
Okay. Okay.
listed, and we'll do both.
Yeah,
Okay. Sounds good. All right, then we are on to reports from officers in the district. Senor Tyler.
Let's see, I don't know. Let's see, well, I guess, God, what is today, the 16th, so Tuesday, Circular Indiana, does everybody know who Circular Indiana is? Used to be the Indiana Recycling Coalition. So, it's time kind of warps around the whole COVID thing. So it's been 2 or 3 years ago that they, changed their name and rebranded themselves as Circular Indiana. But they're making an attempt with some changes within the organization and the name change and COVID. They kind of been off the map, off the radar for a little while. So they're trying to get themselves back out there, get back involved in the state and doing things to help support solid waste districts, but also to promote and try to grow the circular economy in the state of Indiana. So they had a networking event here in Bloomington on Tuesday. Mr. Goins was there, as well as myself and Kayla Strand from the district, some other district directors, Circular Indiana representatives, and a few local business representatives. But it was really just it was Circular Indiana trying to reintroduce themselves, put themselves back out there, have this networking event and try to start to connect. The various entities, players that would be a part of the circular economy, in an effort to promote that and start to grow that in Indiana. So they had a similar event in Fort Wayne in February, I think it was. And Pam said Tuesday, I think they're looking at trying to do one in Evansville this summer. But again, it's them trying to put themselves out there. But it was nice that they came to Bloomington because what they're trying to do overlaps well, meshes nicely with Kayla, with our waste reduction specialist position. Because part of what we envisioned that position doing was out there working being more involved with the business community and trying to help them identify ways to reduce waste and be more sustainable, one of which would be what you view as a waste product here would actually serve a purpose for this company over here. So how do we get this material over here? Right. Unfortunately, I had to leave a little early because I had to go to the county council meeting to get our landfill financial assurance approved, which got done as well. But Kayla said it was a nice event. They had a good kind of roundtable discussion after I left. Bill, I don't know if you want to add anything to any of that.
I mean, Tom pretty much nailed it. It's just a roundtable, different people from different backgrounds. One lady that was there was Michelle Cohen from the Lake Monroe Water Fund. So she was able to offer a different perspective on how it's more sustainability than a recycling committee. So she was able to offer some things that didn't have to do with solid waste and the waste industry. It was good talk. Everybody got a chance to discuss challenges they had and ways that the Circular Indiana can get awareness out more. That's basically all it was, like a feeling out meeting, more or less.
And the awareness is the end users and those that collect the recycling, the materials can connect, or?
It's more how to get the consumer to realize that what they're buying or what they're discarding is not a waste item, it's a commodity.
Okay.
So it's
So
more of
consumer
a-
education.
It's more of educate the consumer to ground level, because the haulers are still going to take it. They're still gonna
Yeah.
recycle it, but the material has to be put in the correct place before it can be collected.
Right.
So that was the main thing, was everyone to know how to get the word out, how to educate better, and basically just how to get up and running again, pretty much.
I think that's part of what Circular Indiana's trying to figure out, and these roundtables that they're having are part of that, is, where do they fit into this and what is their role gonna be moving forward? And so, but it's nice that they're becoming active again, more active again, and looking, to find a role and get involved
Creating those conversations.
in doing that stuff, yeah, so. So that was nice. Joey Long and I, 2 weeks ago now, had the opportunity to go see the Brightmark facility up in Ashley. And with the Indiana Household Hazardous Waste Task Force. It was a long day, but.
What is Brightmark?
Brightmark is a plastics recycling facility and what
Is that the one that can do the,
they,
what do they call it, pressed form?
no, they break plastic all the way down to its petroleum base.
Okay.
And their end product is a fuel and a wax. Those are the two end products out of their system. And it's a neat facility. My disappointment was that we didn't get to see a whole lot of the refining process. So, what I saw was, here's where the plastics come in, here's where they get sorted, here's where they get melted, here's where they get pelletized, and here's all the pellets that are gonna shoot next door to the refining. So what we saw wasn't a whole lot different than any other plastics, facility that we've been to. But at any rate, the facility's been around for about 3 years now. Yeah, before you guys. But they built it, and they're just now to the point that they're really out there saying, give us anything and everything you can have, because they had some, my understanding is that, they had some problems with the process, and they were really limiting what they took in volume wise, because they just wanted enough material so that they could continue to play with and tweak their process. But I think, and now they're saying they're to a point that they can run full bore. And so, it's a great opportunity for plastics, because they'll take it all. Straws, McDonald's cups, Ziploc baggies.
So I can start putting plastics back in my system.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great opportunity. Our issue is gonna be getting it there cost effectively.
Yeah.
You said Ashley, Indiana?
It is the northeast corner of the state.
Oh, okay.
So where did you say, Waukesha?
Ashley.
Ashley.
Oh, wow, 180 miles away. Okay.
Yeah, said it was a long day.
Ashley.
Wow. North of Fort Wayne.
I'm gonna say it's up there, close to where they make the
It is. Now, I mean, the facilities not even a mile off I-69. So
Okay.
it's, I mean, it's easily accessible. But it's a long haul.
So where do the plastics currently go?
Ours?
Yeah.
Ours well, all of our materials are currently under contract with Public Services.
Right,
So
okay.
they, from our facilities, make their way to Republic Services MRF up on 96th Street in Indianapolis.
Okay.
And they have a handful of different plastics vendors that they will send plastics to.
So how would Brightmark fit in with this? Would this be a contract with them where we would just ship directly to them and with an expanded
Well, that's,
array of available
I mean, that's
plastics?
something that's yet to be figured out. And,
Okay.
you know, if you recall from some of the past board meetings ending last year and beginning of this year, you know, the board's asked to see RFP documents, to basically get something in place to replace that existing agreement. We canceled the May meeting, so hopefully in June. I'm also still waiting on feedback from our attorney on the drafted documents, but they are drafted. And hope to be able to show those to the board at June, and you know, they may or may not
RFP is
direct me
request for
to
proposal.
issue
Yes.
to issue the RFP. You know, so if, as the way things sit right now, you know, other than styrofoam and plastic bags, which Republic isn't taking from us, to get any other material up there would require cooperation from Public Services. So that would ultimately depend on them.
So
Getting a
we
relationship
could, so we
established.
could then send our plastic bags and our styrofoams up there?
We could, but then I gotta figure out how to collect that stuff.
Right.
Separately from everything
Right,
else.
right.
And that's that's one of the,
That would be a good thing if we could figure it out.
right, but that's one of the attractive things about, Brightmark is, we could put everything in that plastics compactor, including the bags and styrofoam, and send it up there.
Wow.
But that's not gonna be cost effective to haul a compacted 40-yard box 180 miles.
Can you bail it? Put it in an enclosed tractor trailer, 53-foot vans?
I don't have a baler.
Oh, that's right, you don't have a baler. Why is I keep seeing balers?
I take that back. We have a vertical baler that'll produce about, I think,
You've got a vertical baler for cardboard, right?
no, we used to do plastic bags with it. It would, I think, doing the plastic bags, about 1,000 pounds was as heavy a bale as we could produce with that thing. And it's a smaller than your traditional, but those bales were, this vertical baler, smaller than the traditional ones. But we do still have that. It's stored right now.
Yeah. Well, I remember hauling compacted paper to a paper plant to recycle it.
I mean, from my perspective, ideally, Rumpke or Republic gets connected with this facility, and then we take our materials locally to them. They bale it, compact it, whatever, and deal with getting it up there. Because then you have the ability to have the volume where they can fill a semi-trailer instead of a roll-off box.
So does that sound like a good idea at your end of it?
Well, my question would be, how many receiver boxes do you have for your compactor? The bullet shaped boxes, how many?
How many empties do I have if you want to pull a full one?
Yes,
Off the top of my head, I don't know. Not one or two extras.
because with that material, it's so light, you would be able to haul a double rack, which would be 2 boxes at once. Which would theoretically cut down on your hauling costs by half.
You can stack those boxes?
Yes, roll off.
Except that my hauling cost is gonna more than double going from here to Ashley versus here down to State Road 37.
Yeah, you could fit 2 boxes on. They have racks that have 2 separate winches
Okay, like what we see on the trains with those.
No, they're not on top of each other. They're,
Oh, okay, that's what I meant. Are you stacking them? No,
No,
front to back, okay, those I've seen.
front to back.
Yeah, okay, those I've seen.
And with material that light, it should keep you under the legal weight limit. That's the challenge with hauling two at once.
but again, and right now today, that would also mean that we would have to collect the bags, films and styrofoam separate from everything else because of the contractual situation.
Yeah.
So, so the fact that the board's considering an RFP for, all of our materials and the hauling of those materials, it kind of means there's, as attractive as that facility is, it doesn't really make a lot of sense to scramble and jump through hoops to get stuff up there when 6 months later, we might be in a completely different scenario.
And correct me if I'm wrong, I remember that Republic said it was all or nothing. They want all of the products or none of them. So what's the benefit for Republic or Rumpke collecting that and then taking it up there? Just the hauling fees?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, it wasn't that Republic wanted all of the materials. It was the materials that they bid on, they do them all or they do not.
Okay, thank you.
Because they didn't bid on the last. So the last go around, the last was not included in their response. They don't do, as far as I know, they don't mess with glass.
As far as I know, they don't.
They don't want glass as far as I know.
So with the current contract, we do collect glass, that just doesn't go to Republic.
It's not covered under that agreement.
Okay, so where is the glass going then?
Right now it goes, it goes.
Oh.
We used to haul it straight from our facilities up to Indianapolis. And then, into last year, we finally got an agreement in place with Rumpke.
Okay.
To haul it down there.
Okay,
And then we'll go to Dayton.
Yeah, it goes to Dayton, correct that.
okay. Oh, cool. Thank you for enlightening.
And again, we could do something similar with plastic bags and styrofoam and stuff, but at most of our facilities, the space to collect that in a volume to make it cost effective and efficient is challenging.
I have a question. Did you learn anything about the value of materials that would go to Brightmark? Because in general, every different plastic type has its own market value. And if they were to take anything and everything, I presume they would only provide one value for that lump sum. Would there be a potential value loss then? Or-
Specifically, no.
Okay.
There are a couple of waste districts up there, and there are people that are using them right now because they're there and convenient. But my recollection is that they're actually paying Brightmark to take the materials there.
Okay.
But a much better deal than what they would get from whatever MRF that they were using, or or landfilling it or whatever.
It's still better, I suppose, to pay them to take it up there than what it is to send it over to landfill.
Well, yeah, from an environmental perspective.
From an environmental perspective.
Financial perspective,
Yeah.
well, maybe.
Environmental.
Okay, but like I said, my recollection from talking to the people I've talked to that are using them is that it's a pretty good rate to tip materials there. Certainly in comparison to their other options that are out there. So, we'll see what happens. Brightmark wants the material, so how far are they willing to reach out, and what are they willing to do to get it there? That's
Questions that are gonna be answered.
not today, but a lot of that'll just depend on if there are truly up and running full capacity. Obviously they'll start with a small radius and expand out as far as they need to get the materials that they want.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens. Let's see, beyond that, I know I said, Matt and Joe, budget stuff for next year that I think will be addressed at the next meeting. We're fully engaged in our budgeting process for next year at this point. So it's always fun to predict on a quarter year data what next year's gonna look like. That's what we do every year. But at this point, I can't predict what it's going to look like. But did want to remind the CAC, as I got putting that stuff together to distribute out to everybody, that the CAC did also ask for and get an additional $500 appropriation. I think it just kind of went into the generic other supplies category, but my recollection was that money was requested because of the upcoming rebranding and thoughts about either, I don't know, shirts or literature that could be used to promote and recruit new members. But so that money's there, it's appropriated, and I encourage you guys to find something to spend it on. So.
For me, it seems like the most logical thing on that might be having a table at a farmer's market or something like that. Because like-minded people, if they're shopping at the farmer's market, might be interested in joining.
I was picking that up, potentially a new business.
Yeah.
So we're trying to spur additional discussion, just, it's my thought.
Maybe finding new business next.
Start thinking about your budget, and remember that you have additional money beyond what you're used to having that can be spent this year. If you don't spend it, staff will find a way to spend it.
Good.
Any additional questions?
And I guess that I will just also, just so that you guys are aware of financially what's going on with us, the executive committees already told this, but we are at some point this year, we're going to have the board move some money around between categories in our budget for us, and we are going to have to do some additional appropriations at some point this year. That's primarily due to the new accounting software. The one we elected to go with was more expensive than what we had budgeted for and anticipated when we established that budget. And that I think that we're at about the $30,000 mark on signage because of the rebranding, and that money was budgeted for last year, not this year. Because we all thought we would have it all done before the end of the year and be able to pay for it. And that didn't happen, and we missed our window to encumber the money, so.
So the money not spent goes back into
Yeah, the money's still.
council's funds.
It's just unappropriated.
Appropriations.
It's unappropriated cash reserves. I mean, the money's there.
All right.
But just wasn't appropriated in this year's budget, so. So at any rate, we'll move money around to the extent that we can to reduce the appropriations that need to be requested, but I listen, crunching numbers real fast. I don't know how we're going to get through the year without some sort of additional appropriation at some point. So.
Got it.
And do you still have lots of bags left from the green bags?
No. The reusable bags?
Yeah.
No.
Are they all gone, or you still have some?
We still have we're well under 1,000, probably closer to 500 that are left.
Okay.
What we did with the rebranding pending, I think it was Thanksgiving, we gave a lot. I mean, a few thousand bags to Pantry 279. That they could use for the food they distributed for the holidays.
That's awesome. Pantry 279 does great work.
Yeah.
Yeah, we thought that was, and once the rebranding happened, they weren't bags that we would be able to readily use for things anymore, so we thought that was a good use of it.
Okay.
And it puts them in there, and then hopefully their clientele will bring those bags back when they utilize those services next time.
I still have a few that I use, give away.
But we do still have a few hundred left.
Okay.
Yeah, made
I
available.
may have to get some more then.
Anything else? Okay.
I've taken up enough of your time.
Any other questions? Nope. Okay, so, reports from the chair, I have no report. Any questions for me? Okay,
Are you enjoying the job?
yeah. I'm an ideas and an action guy, not an admin and whatever else. Are there any, we don't have any special committee reports, unless Joe, you had something, okay. No special orders, so unfinished business. We've continued to have the organic waste task force. And the last time we met, we had Opie Strasberg come in
Yeah, from the city council.
from city council.
She has now joined that task force, moving forward.
And she's also on the Climate Action and Resilience Committee. The city, there's 4 council members on that, and they're looking to have the UDO, city code, and the Climate Action Plan of 2021 start to work together. Right now, there's a lot of opposing ideas between the UDO and the Climate Action Plan of 2021. So I think having her on the Organic Waste Task Force, as well as that, will.
Yeah, her being on there is just kind of an obvious choice based on what she's gotten herself involved in since being elected to the council.
Right. Anything else on the Organic Waste Task Force? No. As for new business, not knowing we can add in new business that's not currently on the, okay.
Usually do that after the existing new business items are discussed.
Gotcha, okay. So new business item number 1, the Lotus Festival. Tom sent me an email, he was contacted, if you want to take this.
But yeah, well, you guys probably know, Purdue Extension Services shares our office, and one of their employees knows or is somehow connected with one of the organizers of Lotus Festival. So they reached out to him asking about options to collect food waste, composting at Lotus Festival. And I said, well, we don't really have any place to take it. I said, but I got one thought that let me investigate. So I sent an email to Matt and said, hey, you know, we got this request, and is this something that perhaps, you know, Matt and his Bokashi might be interested in getting involved with, so.
So with that being said, the initial idea, we haven't written down a proposal yet. The initial idea was to, kind of like what Farm Aid did. Farm Aid had volunteers at every single, they had a trash can, compost can, and a recycling can. And so there was a volunteer at each set of 3, and when people came up with their trash,
There.
Yep, they guided them to that. So with that being kind of the format, that is kind of our initial idea, was we could have these Bokashi containers ready, and for the food waste, the volunteer would say, okay, put your food waste in here. The person would dump their food waste in, and then the volunteer would have been trained on Bokashi. They would take the wheat bran and they would spread it over that. And so once the bucket was full, they'd close it and they'd open another bucket. The idea would be, it would be a pilot for a festival, and doing this way. And then Garden Quest, my sister's nonprofit, we would take all the buckets and we would deal with the food waste on that. It wouldn't be a small amount, it would be a challenge. But once again, Bokashi will take food waste to soil in about 3 months. So a much faster process than traditional composting. So it is a very good opportunity. The costs, we haven't reached out to Earthkeepers to find out what they've charged Lotus previously, and not knowing if it was just Lotus paying Earthkeepers or if the city chipped in, or did the district never chip in?
Yeah, no, we never got involved with helping to fund any of that stuff that Earthkeepers was doing.
Okay, so that would be, that's kind of the idea. It would be a pilot, And the buckets, are about $80 a pop with everything. And we might be able to get a discount.
Are they
for
5, 10
They're
gallon?
they're 5 gallon.
5 gallon.
They're anaerobic. We've tried to work on a 64 gallon but the top, it's challenging to airtight seal it. So that would be the idea. It'd be training the volunteers. It would be a pilot for festivals, and it would bring awareness on a larger scale to Bokashi. So if we were to get 50 buckets, that'd be about $4,000. Once again, finding out what Lotus's budget is going to be part of that. And then the question is, would the district and the city be willing to contribute to that for that pilot? Because we're going to continue to have festivals, and right now we have no option for food waste other than a landfill. And with the district having $50,000 in the budget specifically for food waste, is that a good way to use the money? Because I don't know if that was in the budget in
Do you
2023.
have any of those buckets now?
Yeah, but they're currently being used for a neighborhood pilot.
Okay, okay. Because Harrodsburg Heritage Days is this Saturday. I was thinking that might be a good place to kind of
We don't have enough.
get
We have
something
7 or
to
8
try
spare.
going.
We currently have 8 families, and we have about 20 buckets, so they just turn over.
All right,
You have to
okay.
have 2 buckets per family.
Just a thought.
Yeah.
Just a
yeah.
thought.
No, I appreciate that. So that was the discussion I want to have is that a worthy pilot for which to invest the money that, some of the money that the district currently has, as well as Lotus contributing to that as well, whatever they have in their budget for that.
And once all those were done for the Lotus, excuse me, then we would have them available for other venues as they arise.
Correct. That would be the idea. Now, the first time, that's a lot of food waste for a small urban farm to deal
Yeah,
with. We said
yeah.
we would deal with the first time. After that, we'd have to figure something else out. It could be that we talk with local farms, and because it turns over so fast, that we say, you can take 30 buckets, you can take 30 buckets, so on and so forth. But for the first time, we would deal with that.
Or even something like the community orchard over there by the Y.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then
There's the
there's another,
gardens out there on Vernal Pike.
yeah.
Yep. And this
Yeah,
could-
again, there's a couple other
Yeah.
garden areas like that.
Yeah, or we just keep it under 300 square feet, and that this could start turning into, this could,
See, that was one question that I had, about it. Specific to your operation is, without knowing what kind of volume that we're looking at. So I don't want anybody, but I don't want you to get involved in something that puts you in a situation where you're running afoul of state laws, local ordinances, or
right, so,
because all of a sudden you've exceeded some threshold.
so we would keep it under 300 square feet. We would figure out where to put it.
And
And,
I'm not real sure how Bokashi fits into that 300 square foot because it's not an open.
right, well, it's, so after 2 weeks, you do take the food waste out, but now it's pickled. So you can put it into, that's when you would put it into either your garden bed and bury it,
Okay.
or you could just put it into a regular compost and layer it like normal.
So eventually it does go into an open setting of some sort.
Yeah, because it's pickled, animals don't want it, and it does break down significantly faster, like I said, but you do need to
I
layer
would
it
think
traditionally.
if it's buried, it would be beyond the scope of at least from my understanding of the state regulations, if it's buried.
Yeah, oh, so that could be a way around it.
Because I mean, that's one of those deals where, the state regs just, haven't caught up with the advancements that have been made.
Right,
Isn't that the way it usually is? Regs don't catch up to
That's not-
technology.
It's not specific to composting, that
Yeah.
happened with technology, with AI, that,
Yeah.
they're continuously playing catch up with some of that
yeah, the
stuff.
advances force the,
The stop sign wasn't invented until after the first wreck.
I want to go back and read through the regulations, again, but I don't think current composting rules don't really account for things that are underground.
You're right. Got it?
What's that?
Kind of answered the question I had.
I can't think of anything else either from anything that I've read. Just makes me question the definition of underground. Like, how much soil do you need over a mound of material?
That much is underground.
So we're gonna be trying to do 2 to 4 inches.
Yeah, better, I guess maybe related thought is that I had is you could also check on collection, I guess, generation, amount of material generated that was collected by earth keepers in previous years.
Right.
That would be, I think, a good benchmark to approximate.
It would.
If I recall correctly, it was less than would be expected.
Okay,
But then I would also encourage you to follow up with the organizers about the vendors they're having, like the format of the food and the types of materials they're using.
to serve it?
Yeah,
Okay.
because,
Inevitably something that gets in.
yeah, I remember that being not necessarily well coordinated in terms of who was using compostable materials and who wasn't, and how clear it was which type of each material was.
Right, so that's why the idea would be we would train the staff or the volunteers and they would be manning it.
Right, but I
Scraping
mean,
it in.
even for them, I mean, there are like plastic cups that were, some were compostable, some weren't, and they look very similar.
We don't want any of the compostable stuff. We only want food waste.
But they would still have to be sorted. Like by just the recycling, the trash and the compost separation.
Oh, gotcha.
if-
So you can have a trash barrel,
Effectively,
you can have a
if I make-
composting barrel, and you're gonna have food waste.
Right, but I think what Joe's saying,
Oh, got it.
there is, you know, when somebody comes, if the composting is not gonna accept a compostable flatware, but it's there, but some flatware is not, then somebody's gotta be able to say, well, that's recycling and that's trash.
Right, so just to train people, they're aware of what types of materials are gonna be present.
Got it. Okay, and Tom had a different angle on it that we didn't think of. We were thinking, you know, buckets all over with volunteers, and he said maybe it makes sense to have a booth where you're training people or exposing them to that idea. And, you know, how many people are gonna actually bring their food waste to the booth? I don't know, but it is still.
I think that, and I don't know what Lotus does as far as vendors and booths and stuff, but the other thought that I've had since we said that earlier too is that, you know, Lotus is not Taste of Bloomington. It's not all confined right here,
Right.
because Lotus has multiple
Venues,
stages and venues.
Oh, yeah, this is all over town, kind of blocking off streets and
The Third
stuff.
Street Park,
Yeah.
they block off streets. I think there are times in the past, some of the bars and restaurants have hosted the musicians.
Right.
Yeah,
So,
The idea would be for the outside
you know,
venues.
yeah, so I mean, having I think it's still a viable option to consider, but how, depending on how the festival is setting up vendor booths and stuff, it may or may not be worthwhile, depending on how much traffic you're gonna get.
will they be putting up those, basket things that are plastic bags go in that? You know,
If they did it last year, likely.
I mean, nobody has asked us about it, but Downtown Bloomington Inc. also has those. That could be the ones providing those if they've had those in the
'cause
past.
I know when I asked for some once, I had to go down there to the, convention center.
Right, because that's downtown, that's
Yeah.
where Downtown Bloomington has theirs, but, you know, but at any rate, I mean, you pass it on, because I am thinking that if it's something that you can make happen, you know, the district assisting with that is a realistic option.
Right, and it could be, we say, we're just gonna do 50 buckets. Once those 50 buckets are full, we're gonna cap it at that. That's what we'll do. And then the rest has to go into the trash, unfortunately. It's still moving in the right direction
Yeah.
and educating.
And unfortunately, at this point, you know, for us, it's not a matter of eliminating everything, it's making the dent that we can.
Yeah.
That's where we are right now.
Yeah, so that's exactly what this would be. It'd be making the dent that we can, because otherwise it's all gone.
That's kind of.
Well, you gotta start somewhere.
Right.
Oh, hey, that was a great idea. Let's do it over here. Oh, yeah, I remember they did
That's
that.
kind of the underlying theme of all of our discussions on the organic waste
Yeah.
task force. You know, we
Yeah.
don't have a facility, so we got to do what we can do as we work toward getting a facility here.
So would anybody be opposed to using some, obviously we're not voting on this, but would anybody be opposed to using the part of the budget, the $50,000 to do a pilot like this?
I think it'd be an appropriate use of the budget.
Okay.
And I think, yeah, and I mean, and that's, you know, the CAC obviously has no say in it, but
Yeah,
But, you know, when it comes to, you know, pitching this to the board, having the CAC officers stand up in support of doing that at the
Yeah.
meeting certainly weighs on the board's decision, as it would if you spoke in opposition of it.
So are there any other questions or ideas with Lotus Festival and the food waste that I've presented so far? Or insights?
when is the Lotus Festival?
Beginning of October.
Okay. When is Taste of Bloomington?
There's no taste of Bloomington this year.
None this year.
Haven't had it for what, it's just the third year that I haven't had it.
Oh, yeah?
Hasn't happened since.
Okay.
Or is Lotus Festival too big to try this out on? And should we try something smaller first before Lotus, or just, once again, we have to make the dent that where we can?
I would say talk to our keepers first. That'd probably give you your best frame of reference for what kind of volume to expect and how big of a deal it would actually be or not be.
Oh, dear.
And each bucket, we get about 20 to 24 pounds of food waste.
Why didn't we talk about this in the last meeting that we didn't have? We could have had this up for Harrodsburg.
I didn't have the email, didn't even know that this is the case. Yeah. Okay, no more questions on that. We'll move on to the 2025 budget. Is that
Just
something we should just
real
table?
fast,
Sorry.
I just pulled it up. Lotus is October 3rd through the 6th.
October 3rd.
Through the
Yeah,
6th.
first week of October.
So, yeah, the first weekend. in
Would it be possible to do maybe an introduction to it even at the county fair?
Yeah. Yeah, this Sunday, we're doing a training with the grant that Garden Quest got from IDEM, 10 families. So we've
Okay.
got a training May, June, and July, 10 families each time. That's about max that we can do.
Yeah.
So yeah, we could absolutely do a.
I mean, that might be a better starting point if that was the first, and might even be something better come up before that if we had the stuff to do.
Right,
But,
with that, we'd have to get,
because with the county fair, you know,
but that's in June?
July,
That's
July.
So that means we'd have
first
to,
week of July.
we'd have to get the money appropriate or we'd have to get it approved in June to then be able to buy them all.
But I think that might be better, I mean, because that's a week long
Uh,
and you can test, you know.
I feel like that's a lot more volume.
Well,
Yeah,
yeah,
you'd almost just have to pick like one.
One
food
day.
vendor.
yeah, just
Yeah.
pick a spot. And I would say somewhere over around where the vendors are.
Okay,
And, you know, just make it like a booth in the exhibit building, you know, where, you know.
right. So, yeah, okay.
Yeah, we can, I mean, like, if you want to look at doing something like that and have a booth space, I think well, I'm sure if they're not sold out, they let you do it, but we got a bigger booth this year. We usually do a 10 by 10, we got a 10 by 20, so. Talk to staff about what all's planned for the booth space, but there might be, you know, a section of that we could
Yeah, we don't need much.
set some buckets up and have information about the Bokashi method.
Okay.
Yeah, it would be a good place maybe just to pitch the
Yeah.
idea.
Yeah.
And then tell people you're gonna be at the Lotus Fest.
Yeah, and I like that. Okay. All right, so 2025 budget, we're gonna table till next. I put it on because you mentioned it, but I wasn't sure.
Is it on the agenda?
Yeah, as new business. Is it something we want to talk about this meeting or move that to unfinished?
It's not on the agenda, I've got.
Mine neither.
I think it ended up on the Dropbox version and not the email version.
Oh, I emailed the wrong one out. I apologize.
But like I mentioned, I mean, we can add it to the agenda or, yeah, we can just formally consider it added now if you want.
Yeah, let's talk about it, go ahead.
I have no idea what to talk about. We're going to work on the budget.
I mean, historically,
Welcome to my ignorance.
I mean, it is, the additional money you have this year is the first time the CAC budget has not been $1,000 for training and education and $500 for travel. to get to and from that training and education. And now this year you have the additional $500.
So we got a whole $2,000 this year.
Yeah, but you've never, CAC has never spent.
Never spent it.
And I know you're not gonna spend it this year because the bulk of it goes to the conference and it's at Bloomington this year. So, but that's, you know, historically, you know, the CAC has gotten that $1,000 for, you know, dues to send members to various conferences or trainings, that the group seems appropriate, and the travel expenses for that.
So can I get $100 of quarters to put in the parking meter while I attend the conference?
Talk about that when we schedule the conference, Joe and Matt have a spreadsheet that has all the possible, you know, budget lines on there that you can request money in. I think that it's, you know, it's in the big picture, $2,000, $2,500, it's not a make or break deal on our budget. So, you know, so I think if you want to, if the group comes up with ideas to, you know, to do things beyond just sending people to conferences and training sessions, is with regard to, you know, do we want members to have shirts? Do we want to continuously produce, you know, literature toward whatever goal, you know, the committee decides is appropriate? You know, I think it's fine to continue, you know, to request that.
When is our conference this year?
The week after Lotus.
At the convention center?
Is that the Graduate?
At the Graduate, that's right.
So,
Yeah, so we'll need those $100 for quarters for the parking meters.
my only thing is that, though, that if you are, you know, if you're gonna continue to request funds, you know, for shirts, boots, or whatever, make sure that you spend, you don't have to exhaust it every year, but
Yeah.
show that you're spending that money. It does have a purpose and it's there. So.
So do we want a really nice shirt with whatever that new logo is? Button down so we can put on ties?
I was
Polos.
and I forget which. Salisbury Press? Does that ring a bell? What do you call?
Salisbury Press.
But I mean, we had shirts made for all of our employees. So there is a company out there that you won't have to pay a setup fee and stuff for. They already have the graphics. You just have to tell them what shirt you want it on.
Yeah, it vaguely rings a bell,
Oh, and
and I don't know where it is.
Yeah, and it would, you know, and I don't think, they have the logo and the name, and if you wanted to add CAC or Citizens Advisory Committee on the breast under the logo or something, that would take much, so.
King and. That would be yours.
And I'm not trying to push you towards doing that, that's my recollection when you were discussing.
We talked about it.
Was that shirts for the CAC members was one of the options for
We
that
talked
money.
about it. Cause I think that for the, however you call that thing, Kabachi or
Bokashi.
Bukashi, you know, if we as CAC members were there, you know,
Yeah,
it kind of shows a little support of where the idea at least is coming from.
yeah, I think it makes sense to do shirts, especially.
Stand out, hey,
Have a booth anywhere
yeah.
with that brand.
It opens a talking point.
Yep. Okay, anything else on the 2025 budget? Okay. Joe?
Does it need to be approved by the CAC, or does our request need to be finalized by our next meeting? Is that how the timeline is? Okay.
Yeah, because well, yes and no. The first draft of the budget goes to the board at their July meeting. But it's not voted on at that time. So there is still an opportunity to make adjustments. And then they would vote on it at their August meeting.
So it's kind of like Congress, you got a first reading, a second reading, and then the third time you vote on it.
I mean, if a board member has the board raises a fuss about something in the budget, I gotta have time to change it and get them something back that they'll approve.
Yeah.
And the default is if you don't submit anything or can't come to agreement on it, you're gonna get this year's budget again.
Well, I think that covers the budget, and then, well, that was the new business we just added was for the recruitment of new members. That $500 would go towards shirts and towards booths in order to recruit and educate. So I think we covered that. And we're getting close to 6:30, so is there any public? Each member of the public will have 4 minutes to speak. Since we're done with new business. Please indicate your desire to comment by using the raise hand function in Teams or by typing into the chat. You'll be called in order that your request is received. Seeing nobody in Teams. Organizer. Yep, there's nobody, so there's no public comments.
And Matt, I have one new business.
Oh, sorry, I apologize.
Just a quick informal poll. Is everyone interested in doing a middle of June adopt a road cleanup on our adopt a road?
Yeah, it's about,
Middle of June works for everybody. I can send out a list of dates and we can decide. Because our meeting will be, well, middle of
June
June
20th,
next year,
yep.
or next month, but that way we get into it before July and it starts getting unbearably hot to be out
be a
there.
good idea.
So I'll email the group some dates, and if I just let me know what works, get something set up.
Sorry for not asking if there was any other new business. No. Is there any other new business?
No, but I do, well, I guess with regard to recruitment of members, I did recently got an email from somebody expressing interest. And it kind of got lost in the shuffle, and it took me a few days to get back to them, but well, I guess I'm not gonna, if he's not gonna join, I'm not gonna publicly call him out on camera. But anyway, I emailed him back and said that I needed that you were happy to have them, and that the board makes the appointments, and to send me a formal letter telling a little bit about themselves, why they're interested in the CAC, and I've not received that yet. So hopefully that comes, and we can get them before the board at the June meeting and get a new member.
Is that something you can email me so I can email him to encourage him or her?
Yeah, I can find that email and forward that to you.
Just kind of as a reminder so you don't have to do that. Okay, so no public comment, we're done with new business. Reminder, the next regular meeting is Thursday, June 20th at 5:30 here in Showers, room 100B. Otherwise, we're going to adjourn. If there's no objection to this, this meeting will adjourn. Any objections? Seeing none, this meeting is adjourned.